unfolded mysteries. The setting sun cast a warm, golden hue over the vast cornfields that stretched as far as the eye could see. It was harvest season in the small farming town of Millville, and the air was filled with the sweet, earthy scent of ripe corn. However, beneath the idyllic surface, a chilling secret lurked. In the heart of Millville, there stood an old, dilapidated barn known as the Harvest House. Its history was shrouded in mystery, with the townsfolk whispering tales of strange occurrences and eerie phenomena that had plagued the place for generations. It was the year 1963, and two best friends, Sarah and Tom, had heard the rumors about the Harvest House for years. They were known as the most adventurous kids in town, always up for a dare. On this fateful autumn evening, with a full moon illuminating the cornfields, they decided to uncover the truth once and for all. With flashlights in hand, they ventured into the cornfields, their footsteps rustling through the tall, dry stalks. The moonlight danced on the corn leaves, casting eerie, shifting shadows. The whispers of the breeze seemed to carry strange, otherworldly voices that sent shivers down their spines. After a seemingly endless trek through the corn maze, they reached the Harvest House, its rotting wood creaking ominously in the night. The door was partially ajar, as if beckoning them inside. With a mixture of dread and determination, they stepped in. Inside, the barn was filled with antiquated farming equipment, their rusty forms looming like silent sentinels. Cobwebs hung like drapes, and the air was thick with a musty, oppressive humidity. As they cautiously explored, the barn seemed to shift and change. Its dimensions distorted, and corridors appeared where none should have been. The friends heard faint, mournful cries in the distance, and an overpowering sense of sorrow gripped them. They followed the eerie sounds through twisting passageways until they came upon a haunting sight. In a dimly lit chamber, they found an old, rusted threshing machine, and surrounding it were the spectral forms of ghostly farmers, their faces etched with pain. Sarah and Tom gasped in horror, realizing they had stumbled upon a nightmarish scene of the past. These apparitions were the trapped souls of farmers who had met a gruesome end in a cornfield accident many years ago. The spirits toiled endlessly, their spectral hands pushing the threshing machine, their wails a chilling testament to their eternal suffering. In their desperation to escape, the two friends inadvertently released the tormented souls from their spectral servitude. The Harvest House quaked and groaned as the trapped spirits dissolved into the night, their mournful cries echoing through the cornfields. A dreadful silence descended, and the barn returned to its rotting, abandoned state. Sarah and Tom fled the Harvest House, but the weight of their actions and the harrowing sights they had witnessed stayed with them. The haunting specters were gone, but the cornfields would forever bear the scars of their dark history. As they emerged from the corn maze and the moon dipped below the horizon, they looked back at the now forlorn Harvest House. The once secret terrors of Millville had been laid bare, a stark reminder that the past's dark secrets were sometimes best left undisturbed, even in the most tranquil of settings. In the small, isolated town of Blackthorn, nestled deep within the thick forests of the Pacific Northwest, there stood an abandoned church that had long been the subject of whispered tales and chilling legends. St. Agnes's Chapel, they called it, a crumbling relic from a bygone era shrouded in an aura of dread and foreboding. Local legend had it that the church had been cursed since its inception, built upon a cursed burial ground by a deranged pastor. The stories spoke of unsettling occurrences, strange apparitions, unexplainable sounds, and those who dared enter never returned the same. The chapel was a place where time itself seemed to stand still, and its dark history weighed heavily upon the land. One moonless night, as a thick fog descended upon Blackthorn, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to investigate the eerie tales that had plagued their childhood. There was Emily, the determined leader of the group, Mark, the skeptical yet curious one, Lisa, the timid but always up for a challenge, and Daniel, the reckless thrill-seeker. Armed with flashlights and their shared bravado, they ventured into the dense woods, guided only by the faint glimmer of the abandoned chapel's steeple through the mist. As they approached, a heavy silence enveloped them, and the feeling of being watched grew increasingly oppressive. The church itself appeared even more menacing up close. Its once stalwart stone walls were now covered in moss and vines, and the windows were shattered, leaving only empty black voids in their wake. The group hesitated but pressed on, driven by their curiosity and desire to debunk the ominous tales. The moment they stepped through the shattered doorway, a frigid wind blew through the chapel, extinguishing their flashlights. Panic set in as darkness surrounded them, and the unsettling sound of whispering voices filled the air. A flickering, pale light suddenly appeared at the far end of the chapel, casting eerie shadows upon the walls. As they approached the source of the light, they stumbled upon a decaying altar adorned with grotesque symbols. Their terror escalated when they realized the light came from an old, blood-red candle that inexplicably burned with an unearthly flame. Before their eyes, ghostly figures began to materialize, staring at them with hollow eyes filled with unspeakable anguish. Emily screamed, her terror echoing through the chapel, while Mark urged them to leave immediately. The others, paralyzed by fear, hesitated as the ghostly figures advanced, their footsteps echoing like the tolling of a death knell. Desperation finally fueled their flight from the chapel, but as they rushed out, a malevolent laughter pursued them, a sinister mocking sound that seemed to emanate from all directions. Once back in the forest, they paused to catch their breath, their hearts still pounding in their chests. The realization that they had unwittingly set free the restless spirits of St. Agnes's chapel gnawed at their souls. They knew that they had crossed a threshold from which there was no return. From that night forward, the town of Blackthorn whispered new tales about the church, stories of the cursed souls who roamed the forest, exacting their revenge on any who dared to enter. The legend of St. Agnes's chapel became even more chilling, a reminder to all who heard it that some places are best left abandoned, their secrets buried forever in the dark recesses of the past. The coastal town of Harmony Cove was known for its breathtaking cliffs, picturesque beaches, and a lighthouse that had guided sailors safely for generations. However, it was also known for something else, a chilling legend of a lighthouse that mysteriously vanished during a violent storm, taking its keepers with it. It was the year 1937, and Lily, an adventurous young woman with a fascination for the paranormal, decided to explore the secrets of Harmony Cove. She'd heard the haunting tales from her grandmother and was determined to uncover the truth. Her friend Alex, an amateur historian, agreed to accompany her. On a foggy evening, they embarked on their quest. The lighthouse sat atop a treacherous cliff, its beam of light having been extinguished for decades. The wind howled and the sea roared as they made their way up the winding path that led to the cliff's edge. The air was heavy with the scent of salt and seaweed. The lighthouse loomed before them, its black silhouette standing stark against the moonlit sky. The stories of its disappearance were riddled with mystery. Some said the lighthouse had been claimed by the sea during a massive storm, while others claimed it had been taken by supernatural forces. Lily and Alex were determined to uncover the truth. They entered the lighthouse, and the air inside was thick with a sense of foreboding. The walls were covered in a thick layer of salt, and the wooden floors creaked with each step. As they climbed the narrow spiral staircase to the top, the sound of the howling wind grew more intense, and the walls seemed to close in around them. When they reached the lantern room, they found the mechanism that had once held the beacon. It had been dismantled and left in disrepair. The room was suffused with an otherworldly glow as a spectral figure materialized before them, a lighthouse keeper in his ragged uniform. The ghostly keeper spoke of the night the lighthouse vanished. He explained how they had tried to keep the light burning during the storm, but an otherworldly force had torn the lighthouse from its foundation and sent it crashing into the sea, taking the keepers with it. They had been cursed to wander the lighthouse, eternally seeking to relight the beacon. Lily and Alex listened in awe and terror, realizing that they had uncovered a dark secret. The spectral keeper implored them to help break the curse by finding the missing lantern and returning it to the lighthouse. The two friends agreed, setting out on a perilous journey that would take them to the depths of the ocean. Their quest led them to an underwater cave, where they discovered the lantern amidst the wreckage of the lighthouse. As they brought it to the surface, the sea roared and thrashed, as if resisting their efforts. With sheer determination, they reassembled the lantern and returned it to its rightful place in the lighthouse. As the lantern's light pierced the night, the ghostly keepers let out a collective, mournful cry, their figures fading into the ether. The lighthouse, once vanished, now stood strong and steadfast on the cliff's edge. The curse had been broken. Lily and Alex returned to Harmony Cove as heroes, their courage celebrated by the townspeople. The legend of the vanishing lighthouse was no longer a haunting tale, but a testament to the power of bravery and determination in the face of the unknown. We hope you enjoyed those spine-tingling tales as much as we did. If you're still feeling a little spooked, don't worry, you're not alone. But before we say goodbye, we have a few things to ask of you. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up button if you found these stories as chilling as we did. It really helps our channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already. There are plenty more eerie adventures waiting for you right here, so you don't want to miss out. Share this video with your friends and fellow thrill seekers. After all, spooky stories are best enjoyed with company, right? That's a wrap for today, but stay tuned for more bone-chilling content in the future. Until next time, remember to keep your flashlight handy, your wits about you, and always be ready for the unexpected. Thanks for joining us on this haunting journey. Take care and may your nights be eerily entertaining. See you in the next video.